Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Goss, for your presence here today. I think it's important to note that the longer we wait to make changes, the more difficult it will get. But just to clarify, you just said that Social Security is not fully funded, and yet we heard earlier, and there was a graph up there that suggests that there's a surplus. I mean, that to me doesn't level. Would you characterize that as a surplus?
Well, it's an accumulated surplus we've had up to this point. We do have $2.8 trillion available now. I hesitate to sort of try an analogy, but if we had, for instance, we want to put our child through college for 4 years, and we have enough money available right now to pay for the first year, but not the latter 3, then we do have a nice piece of money here ready to cover 1 year. We simply have to come up.
Would you call that a surplus, given the suggestion of obligation for a 4-year degree?
Well, it's certainly a surplus in the sense that, in that case, and certainly in this case, where we have since the inception of the program, first taxes collected in 1937, we have accumulated more tax revenue collected than we have paid out to date. And again, looking at it from the point of view as a current cost finance or a pay-as-you-go system, which it is, in that sense, we have a surplus. Our real challenge is in the future.
Perhaps a better approach would be to suggest that it's not fully funded, as I heard from you.
To say that it's not fully advance funded over the long term. There's no question about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there any way to quantify perhaps that delaying a decision, that the cost of delay is X? I mean, have you sorted that out? Is there a way to really quantify that? Because when I talk to especially younger folks who are paying in to Social Security, and when we tell them that those dollars won't be there long term if no changes are made, is there any way to quantify that?
Well, what I would suggest is that we do know that looking on a combined OESI and DI trust fund basis, we have we can pay about 79 cents in the dollar, ultimately about 74 cents. So we are about 25% short in benefits, on the ability to pay benefits.
On the continuum of time,
right?
That the longer we wait, I mean, it only gets worse.
But here's the question. If we were to enact a proposal today that would lower benefits by about a quarter or raise revenue by about a third as of 2034, that's exactly the same 2034 problem as if we enacted 5 years or 10 years from now. The real difference in taking longer to consolidate onto the decision that you all will make about how we ought to change things is that if we wait longer, we'll probably limit the options we have available. We'll give people less advance warning, and we may be able to phase in changes less gradually. The beauty of the 1983 Social Security amendments, which was the one that raised our normal retirement age, it didn't start to raise it until 17 years later. It's wonderful to give the American people that kind of advance warning. So that's why I think everybody's been encouraging you all to give us legislation sooner rather than later.
Sure, and I can appreciate that. Now, previous messages from public trustees have noted that even if not a single dollar were paid to new beneficiaries once the trust funds are exhausted, there still wouldn't be enough money to pay benefits for those already receiving them. Is that still true?
That is true. That's a rather interesting notion, though, of saying that every year we have the number of people who start to receive benefits is roughly 5% of the total number of people who receive benefits. So I'm not sure that anybody would seriously consider saying, let's continue to pay full, unaltered benefits to all the people that started receiving benefits a year or 2 or 3 years ago, but new people coming in will get nothing.
But it helps us reflect kind of the obligations that are there, and I think it is very advisable for us on both sides of the aisle to acknowledge the realities that are out there. I cannot suggest that there is a surplus given all of the obligations long term. And believe me, we need to think longer term about especially this issue, given what has been promised over the past and hopefully well into the future. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.